I'm meteorologist Vin Crosby from the Weather Show at Vin Crosby. Many friends and family have been contacting me from the Tampa area back towards Georgia about what's going to happen with Ian. So I wanted to give some insight because I think we are on the cusp of one of the biggest natural disasters in modern day history. If the loss of life, the fatalities are less than 100 from this storm, that would be a good thing. This is going to be a devastating scenario. It's not your ordinary situation. I'm going to explain why. The flooding along Florida Peninsula is going to be massive. Back up in towards the Georgia area, South and North Carolina, Kentucky, Tennessee. All of you are going to have to deal with flooding rains from this storm eventually. I'm going to break it all down for you during this forecast and then come back and give you some safety tips of what I think you should be doing to prepare for not only for the storm, but for what's going to happen after the storm. I've been in several hurricanes. I know what's coming your way. I know the weeks and months ahead of the cleanup that are expected from this storm. That is what I'm going to bring you in this video.
All right, Hurricane Ian now bearing down on Florida. This is going to be deadly in so many regards. There's so many facets to this storm, and it could go down as one of the biggest natural disasters in U.S. history because of the track of this storm through these very high populated areas. All right, there's the storm track. That's what is expected through Thursday afternoon and ending up over here on the other side of the coast of Florida. If that track happens and it goes down along just south of Interstate 4, we will see fatality numbers way too high just because of the flooding rains alone. This is the problem. The eye of the storm is down to the south, but this situation, as you'll see, anything north and west of that track will see the heaviest rainfall, and some areas may eclipse, are you ready for this? 40 inches of rain. There is that chance, and I'm going to explain why. And then coming up, we'll have safety tips after we look at some of the maps here. But this is a very dangerous situation for all parties involved with Hurricane Ian. Check out the projected model here. All the rain showers wrapping around the center. That is evident. There have been numerous reports of tornadoes already today in the initial bands this year Tuesday. We'll see that Tuesday night. You'll see it during the day Wednesday and Wednesday night. So tornadoes will be coming through with this storm as it continues to press on inland. Now, the storm track, as you probably have heard, going in around the Fort Myers area. So anything right of that storm track as it comes on in off the ocean will provide a wall of water around 8 to 15 feet coming on inland with tremendous flooding. But the big flooding problems are going to be the rains north and west of that storm track. Watch this band of rain form right there near the I-4 corridor, Interstate 4. It could fluctuate a little north, it could fluctuate a little south, but my concern is the rain totals. The scales down there at the bottom of the map. Notice these areas here, right in here. The purple areas, that's 20 to 40 inches of rain, my friends. You get that across a region that is already saturated with the marshes in Florida. The water is going to pile up and pile up quickly. A lot of the ground is going to become oatmeal. It's going to become soupy. And any wind, like these now are wind speeds, will topple trees, especially some of the oaks down there in some of these subdivisions. So that's going to come down on roofs and houses and power lines, knocking out and adding more insult to injury with the power outages that will last for days, if not weeks on end because of this storm. The eye of the storm, you see it there. Inside the eye, yes, I've been in several. It is calm. You'll have 100-mile-per-hour winds gusting probably between 60 and 100 around the eye as it comes inland. And then inside the eye, it is calm. You'll have two waves. You'll have the winds coming from one direction. It'll be calm. And then those high winds coming around from the other direction. Notice north of the I-4 corridor, north of that eye, strong gusty winds persist through 48 hours. Many trees are going to come down. Many roads will be impassable because of water and tree damage because of this storm.
So, safety preparations, there's a lot, but these are some common sense things. Number one, with the water going to be such a big problem, with the flooding water that's going to be around on streets throughout your neighborhoods, you, of course, down in Florida in the southeast have to deal with these things called gators and snakes. They're going to be abundant. They're going to be in the water. That's the clear, obvious safety feature you have to worry about. The other thing is going to be common sense things like your keys. you may want to attach that to like a flotation device. You drop your keys in some of those 2-3 feet deep of water that's all murky brown. It's going to be hard to find those keys. Have all your insurance papers, everything in a plastic folder, Ziploc bag, have it waterproof. You're going to need that, and have that handy where you can grab it if you need to run to shelter or higher ground because of the flooding rains. Batteries, it goes without exception. Candles, yes, you can have those. If you do have generators, make sure that when you're running a generator, it gives out carbon monoxide. You do not want to have it indoors by any stretch or be near that because of that poisoning. You're going to need some ventilation, and make sure that is a possibility for you. Make sure you have a very good organization of any cans of gasoline to run the generators. Now, many of you are going to be without power for possibly weeks. And with the water and the standing water, insects are going to be awful. The humidity, obviously, you're used to, but this is going to be a problem because everything's going to be wet. It's going to be moldy. It's going to be disgusting. You may have to deal with sewage issues. So all this is going to be a possibility. Have the insect repellent available. Batteries, a little first aid kit, definitely. And then, of course, water, fresh water, bottled water, anything, food, non-perishables that's going to last you, and not an electric can opener. You're going to need a manual can opener. Big, big thing. I remember being in the hurricanes, and you need that for opening up, for obvious things, cans that the electricity won't provide you. So these are some of the few safety tips. Notice another thing to take note of: trees. The ground, when you get some rain, anywhere from 10 to 30 inches of rain in some areas, is going to become oatmeal. Those big oaks, those big trees, that wind, especially along the I-4 corridor from Tampa over towards Orlando on towards the coast, anywhere in there with those winds blowing, those trees are going to come down, and that's going to knock power lines down. Oh, that's another thing. Don't let the kids go out running around in the puddles because power lines could be down and electrocution may be a possibility. So there's a lot that's going to happen. It's going to transpire. Help everybody out. If you have a boat owners, you're going to be heroes in this storm. Trust me, because there will be water throughout the streets. People are not going to be able to get around. You're going to be able to get around and maybe go and help some of those, the elderly for sure, who can't get around. Go and check on them as you go throughout your neighborhoods. It's going to be widespread. Millions are going to be underwater. All these little estuaries, all these little ponds and subdivisions with the little water fountains, they're all going to become one pond. They're all connected underneath the ground by culverts. That is going to provide a lot of pressure with the water pushing down. That's going to pop up, and springs are going to pop up in the middle of neighborhoods where you're not expecting the water. So a tremendous, dangerous situation. Remember, moving water, there shouldn't be a lot of moving water there, but water 3 feet deep is going to float your vehicle. A lot of vehicles probably going to be stranded as well. So the storm is bearing down. You probably now are seeing the rain. There's tornado possibilities. So this is an incredibly dangerous situation. Share this video with friends and family. And then, of course, the rains are going to be moving on up into South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, the mountains, the Southern Appalachians, Tennessee, Kentucky, all getting heavy rains from the remnants of the storm over the course of the next week or so. That is the weather show with Vin Crosby. I'll try to bring you more updates. You're going to lose power, a lot of you, so hopefully you're going to get this video, share it with folks, friends and family before they lose power, because it may be weeks before they get power back.